How is it going, everybody? Now, not too long ago, I made a video talking about the top 5 easiest cassette tricks because I just got in a cassette and I fell in love with all my favorite tricks. And a lot of you seem to find that helpful. So I thought, why not make a top 5 easiest free coaster tricks or top 5 best free coaster tricks? They kind of go hand in hand. These are my favorites. And I had to borrow Thug's bike for this video, so the examples that you're going to see, I'm not riding a purple frame with pink tires. That's all Thug. That's all him. But if you get any value out of today's video, make me a deal. If you do, if you learn something, if you like it, if you laugh, if you get some value, hit that like button and subscribe, and maybe even share with a friend. If not, that's totally cool. Also letting you guys know, if you click the link in my description, I've opened up my Discord completely free for everybody. Anybody on the channel can join my Discord. Now you'll notice that some of the channels there are locked, like the bike roast and the sponsor series, and I think the ideas and feedback, and then there's a private like members chat in the Discord. Some of those are locked, but you guys can access general forums. You can ask how-tos. There's a how-to section, so if you got a question on a trick, send yourself trying a video and someone will help you out. And there's clips and fails. The Discord's really fun. Come hang out. The best parts pretty much are free, so. But if you want full access, become a member and maybe even pick up some merch. Anyway, let's get into the top 5 best free coaster tricks or easiest free coaster tricks. I would say these are probably the top 5 easiest in my opinion. These are all flat ground besides one, the very last one. And the first one on my list is a fakie hop. And it seems kind of simple, but a lot of people don't really fakie hop or fakie hop anything. Like I see a lot of beginners on free coasters and they're doing half cabs, they're trying full cabs, but they don't really fakie hop, you know? You can fakie hop anything. If you can hop tire grab, if you can hop T-bog, if you can hop seat grab, if you can hop one-hander, if you can hop bar, if you can hop X-up, you can do all of that stuff fakie. Almost just as easy. Now, my advice on that is to do just a 180, fakie back, give it a little bit of time. Fakie back just for a second. You don't want to spin, then go, because then it's going to kind of keep your momentum going. You kind of do a half cab. So you're going to want to do a 180, chill out for a little bit, then do the fakie hop, and then just fakie out. It's really not too much of a how-to on that one. If you can bunny hop, and you can fakie out, like if you can fakie for a good, solid 2 seconds, 1, 2, then half cab, that's all you need to fakie hop. And the good thing is you can do it up curbs, you can do it off curbs. Fakie hops is a really fun trick that I don't see a whole lot of people doing, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's underrated, and there's so much potential because, like I said, if you can hop, seat grab, T-bog, X-up, bar spin, any of that stuff, boom, there you go. You unlocked a whole new world of fakie hop tricks on a free coaster. So there you go. Trick number 1 on the list is a fakie hop. Now, trick number 2 is a backlash or like a backwards manual type of thing. I think it's called a backlash, but you'll see the video right here. It's basically whenever you kind of do like 90 degrees and then you sit on your back wheel for a second. Now, I tried to keep this short, like a short backlash, because I didn't want it to become a backwards manual. That's a whole different trick, but the backlash is super fun because you can do those over I don't know if you've ever been to a parking lot where there's like a little manual pad or something like that. Not a real one, because then that's more of a backwards manual, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Like a foot or two wide, or even like a bank to bank with like a couple feet on top. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. They're all over every city, street spots everywhere. They're all over every skate park, the bank to bank with the couple feet on the top. Anyway, the backlash. And this actually works really good because I was teaching Thug about how to do this trick the other day. And what he was doing is he was doing a regular 180 and just landing on his back tire, trying to lean back, to get that 180, lean back for a second, then half cab out. And he couldn't get it. And I told him, no, you do not want a 180. Because if you do a 180, let's say you're going to do a 180, then it's kind of hard to explain with my hands. But if you're back like this, your momentum's going to keep carrying, right? So you want to do a 90-degree turn. So instead of going like this, and then your weight's just going to fall over and almost kind of do a 270, you want to do a 90, and then you're going to land right here at the 90-degree, just over 90-degree mark, and you're going to carve the rest of the 180, right? So you're going to hop, turn 90 degrees, and you're going to carve the other 90 degrees, and then once you finally hit that 180 mark, once you actually hit that 180 mark, that's when you're going to want a half cab. So you want a half cab at 180, not land at 180. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm sure the visuals, I'll slow-mo it, you'll see. But make sure you get a really low hop, a really just, you don't got to go too fast, low and slow, barely turn and just ride that wave. It's a super fun trick, and that is my biggest advice. I see people trying like backwards manuals and backlashes all the time. Do not do the full 180. The key is under rotating. You got to under rotate that so much because that's where you're sitting. You know what I mean? You're not going to do a 180 and then backlash another, you got to 90, backlash the rest of the 180. And then once you hit that full mark, you're going to half cab the rest of the way out. Hopefully that makes sense, but I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Next up, we have a full cab. Now, there's two ways you can full cab on a free coaster. You can either just full-blown full cab, or you can use pedal pressure. I started by using pedal pressure. I don't think there's any shame in that. I mean, I ride cassette now, and just like that on a free coaster, that's how I, full cab on a cassette. You're using the pedal pressure anyway. So either way, you can do it, but the pedal pressure method is easier. It's a little bit harder to explain, but basically, you can just kind of Fakie out, get to that 90-degree position, stomp down on that pedal pressure, pivot the rest of the 180, then half cab. It's kind of self-explanatory. It's pretty easy, but it's hard to explain at the same time. It's kind of like the same timing as cassette. If you can full cab a cassette, you can do the pedal pressure full cab on a free coaster like 100 times easy. But let's focus on the full 360, the full cab, the full hop, everything. So you just want to get a regular 180. And then a lot of people, they'll try to carve a lot, which makes sense because it's like doing a 360. You're going forward, you carve for the hop 3 or the 3 fly out or whatever you carve, right? So people always try to carve and then like slip out, or they're, turning 90 degrees and then they're hopping back this way and they're just not getting it right. Well, here's the secret to that. Don't try to carve. It looks like people are muscling it up and they're really sending it and they're doing the full thing and they got to get a lot of hop. Truth is, that is how it works. There's a reason that they're not carving. It's not just because they're a really good rider. It's because that's how you do the trick. You can't really carve that much. Obviously, you can carve a little bit, but if you want to get like in a straight line, 180, fakie, full cab, and keep going backwards, you can't be carving all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest advice on that. You just got to huck it. That one might take a little while, but the good thing is when you're doing a hop 360, you're rolling forward and you're pulling up. But this one, you're pulling back. So there's something about like pulling back. Like I'm sure a lot of you, if you're on a free coaster right now, I bet you can half cab higher than you can 180. And I bet you're a little bit more comfortable doing it. Same concept with this. Just because you can't hop 3 super clean does not mean you can't full cab. I think that pulling back and doing a full cab or a half cab motion is a lot easier than, doing a regular hop or a regular hop 180 or 360. Something about going backwards and pulling up like that, I just get way more pop, and I think most of you could agree. So don't be afraid if you can't get a super clean hop 360. You can still start practicing full cabs. That's pretty much day one. You got to be able to like fakie and 180 and stuff, but pretty early on, you should be practicing full cabs if you have a free coaster. If you have a cassette, then it's it's really easy. Anyway, am I going to get this all in one take? Let's go. All right. This one is really fun, and I never see people do it. I think it's easy. I think it's a lot of fun. But here's the thing. It's a Nolly Cab. It looks easy. It's one of those tricks. It's a little harder than it looks, and I did it on flat. And I would say that every single one of these tricks is easiest to learn on flat besides this one. In the next one we're going to talk about, it's not a flat trick. It's actually a grind trick. But you're going to want to do this off of a curb or even a ledge that's 1 foot to 2 feet tall. Because when you're faking out, when you do a nollie, a lot of people can't really nollie 180 going forwards, and it's about twice as hard going backwards. So this isn't really that much of a beginner trick by any means. This is an intermediate trick probably, but I threw it on the list because it is one of my favorite things to do on a free coaster that I just cannot do it on cassette. I miss this trick so much. I used to do it off big drops and ledges, and it was the funnest thing ever. I highly recommend you learn a Nolly Cab, but here's my tip for that. Learn it off of preferably like a ledge like this big, maybe like 1.5 feet to 2 feet. That'd be ideal. Like something, you know how tall the Sabrosa rail is? That's about 18 inches off the ground, I believe. Roughly 1.5 feet. Stick around that mark, the 1 to 2 foot range. That's going to be the perfect. It's going to be comfortable, but you're going to have enough time to actually get all the way around. Then work to a curb. Then you can do it flat. But really, the coolest ones are off the biggest ledges. They're the scariest, they look the hardest, but in theory, you'll find out once you start learning it, it's actually the easiest. You're faking out, and you just kind of start to carve, and you basically just lift up and just nollie. You kind of got to know how to nollie. If you can just practice fakie nollies, you'll get the half cab nollie. There's not too many tips I can give you on that because it's one of those things that you're either going to try it, get close enough to just be like, oh, okay, I understand how to do it, or you're just not quite there yet, because like I said, it's a pretty difficult trick. So what do we have so far? We've got the Fakie Hop, the Backlash, the full cab, the Nolly Cab that I spelt wrong. I called it the Billy Cab. So this one is the backwards manual, and I didn't have a ledge pretty much, I don't think, all day that I could, not the backwards manual, the backwards double pegs. And I didn't get a video of this because the day we rode, the day I filmed this, I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to go to like the skate park or a good street spot or anything. I didn't get a video of it, but imagine doing a double peg grind, but you're going backwards, right? I'm sure you can imagine it. You 180, you double peg, and you Fakie out. Now, here's the reason this is a free coaster trick. Because one thing I didn't know for the longest time when I was riding cassette, I first started BMX on cassette. That's what I started on. Is whenever I 180'd and I started learning 180 double pegs on rails and ledges, I noticed, I was like, man, I'm not really sliding back. I'm kind of locking. Well, as you know, when you 180 a cassette, your wheel locks up and you won't Fakie unless you pedal backwards, right? But everybody knows if you 180 on a free coaster, you freely coast backwards. So that applies on a ledge as well. So when you have a free coaster and your wheels just kind of, do whatever it wants, you have a lot less resistance, a lot less friction versus when you have a cassette, your wheel is locked, it's rubbing against that ledge, but a free coaster wheel, it can just go back and you're riding that wave. So if you haven't tried a 180 double peg, or maybe you just got a free coaster and you haven't thought about that trick, and I don't know, I'm just saying 180 double pegs, you have a big advantage on free coaster. It's a little detail that a lot of people forget, but it makes that type of tricks a lot easier. So I highly recommend doing that. And, here's my biggest thing. Just here's the ledge, come at a 45-degree angle. You don't want to go like this because that's going to be weird. It's going to be, your weight's going to be all messed up. Come at a 45-degree angle or more. I wouldn't do less. 45-degree angle or more. Really get that 180. You're going to want to 180 into it, and then you're going to want to dip your wrist into the ledge or rail, and you're going to want to stay out because keep in mind, you're launching more into the ledge than normal, so you're going to have to counteract that weight by kind of sticking your arms and your bike towards the ledge, but you got to keep your weight out, like a kind of a counterweight. So then, then you're just in the Fakie double pegs, and the half cab out is about the easiest thing in the world. You literally pick up and just kind of melt off of it, and you can do the Indian where people do that, but the backwards 180 or the double peg 180 backwards, I'm losing it. The backwards 180 double pegs is one of the most underrated beginner grinds with people with a free coaster. And don't get me wrong, you can do it with a cassette. I still do that trick all the time with a cassette. I'm just saying in the beginning, it's a little bit easier with the free coaster because you have less resistance and stuff like that. So highly recommend that trick. 45-degree angle. When you start hitting it, you're going to fall over into it. And then you're really going to understand what I mean by counteracting that weight, by keeping your body out and your bike into the rail or the ledge, and then just half cab out. Hopefully this video was brought you some value. If you did, hit that like button, maybe even subscribe or leave a comment, whatever you want to do. Definitely join my Discord because that's free of charge for you. But the merch isn't. So give me your money and I will see. Perfect timing. Oven's ready. I'm going to go grill some burgers and make some French fries.